Hey there, my Tyler Perry fans. It's your girl Barbie J here, back with another one of his comedy dramas, Zatima. Yes, we're back with Zatima, season 2, episode 2, Guilt Trip. And I got to tell you, this was a real good episode. I really like this episode, and I'm glad we are starting off on a good note with, the way these shows are going, and it's not like Sisters, if y'all know, in the Oval. Zatima is on a whole different, wavelength so far, and I hope Tyler Perry keeps it that way. Because this one actually had a touching part at the end, and we'll get to it. I was feeling a little bit emotional. I'm trying to keep my composure, but it really did something to me. It touched me. And shout out to Duvall for the part that he played, because he did that. Ooh, he did that scene so well. Oh, anyway, so it starts off with Fatima. She wanting Zach. You know how episode 1 ended. She wants Zach to get a side chick. And he thinks she's crazy or just wants to see other people and wants him to say, oh, okay first. So she tells him, no, that's not what I'm talking about. She means, so Fatima starts, reminding him about how many times a day he wants sex, how many times they had sex. Then she tells him that, she has picked up a side chick outside for him and she's in the car, and she goes out to get it. He's like, yo, she better look fine. All this stuff. He thinking to himself, like, I can't believe she's doing this. But come to find out, when she comes back, side chick is a sex toy, which is called a side chick pussy. Oh, Lord help me. Anyway, he reminds her how available and down she was for sex before he proposed to her. And he even told her all the places that they were having sex all around the house and outside the house and everything. So then he said, this thing is hard and he ain't doing it. So why would I F this when I could F that? And she told him, because he's effing this up. And he's like, which part? The top or the bottom? I said, oh, nasty, nasty, nasty. So anyway, they went on talking about that. And then Fatima just let him know, look, I'm going to eat dinner and then I'm going to bed. And he's like, for real? Are you serious? For real? She's like, for real, for real. So he said, like, so what's for dinner? She said, oh, I got takeout. He said, oh, so you brought home takeout and a pussy? And she said, 2 pussies. I said, this one you could do whatever you want with it. I was like, oh my God. I guess she was talking about hers. I don't know. So now they're sitting there eating dinner quietly, and Zach is pissed, and he's basically picking over his food. He's upset, And Zach said dinner is a fail as well. He's like, we sitting here eating with plastic forks and stuff. And he said, and sex is a fail. And she asks him about Bryce, and he said, another fail. He said it was awkward. And she's like, well, you have to talk to him at some point. And he's like, yeah. He said, I know. But then she told him about she had a flat tire today. And Zach asked, why didn't she call him? Then she told him about, the construction guy. And that's when Zach said, he's never too busy to be there for her. Why doesn't she ever let him do stuff for her? And she's like, it wasn't a big deal. And she says she's sorry, of course. But Zach gets up from the table and walks away. He's pissed. And I'm sitting there going, I guess Angela was right. You got to let him feel like he's needed. And it's not like he works a 9 to 5 and can't get up and go and help her. And I forgot about that. I'm thinking he's at work, but it's not a 9 to 5. Zach works for himself, so he could have gone and helped her. So, Fatima failed in that part. Anyhow, she goes over to him on the couch. He's sitting there pouting and upset and stuff. And she admits that the sex was a lot back then, when they first met, but she was waiting to see how long it would take, and he was like, that's not fair. You should have said something and let me know. He kept saying, that's not fair. And he said, it seems like now that you got me, it seems you have changed. And she said she didn't change. He said, you about to go to law school? And she's like, yeah. And then with law school and the job, I'm not going to have time for all this sex. He said, that's right. That's why I'm trying to get it in now. Get it in now. I'm laughing at him. I'm like, you trying to rationalize and make sense out of it, But I felt bad for him because it is right. You should have said this is a lie. Let him know ahead of time. So then his phone rings and it's his brother Jeremiah, but he doesn't answer it. And Fatima's like, who's that? And he told him who it was, and he told him that he told her that he told Jeremiah he would see his moms today. And she's like, you don't talk much about your moms. And he's like, no, because she's a fucked up person. He said she let a lot of bad shit happen to me when I was a child. And now she ain't never had nothing to do with me. Now she not know I got some money. Now she always want to see me and stuff. So Fatima thinks it's a good idea for him to go see her, at least to get a chance to say his piece. He would hate that something happened to her and he didn't get a chance to say his piece. And he said, speaking of mothers, when am I going to get to meet your mother and your father? And Fatima started making some kind of faces and sounds. And he was like, what? She said, well, actually, she never told him. She said she never told her parents about Zach, and that her mother would have a fit if she knew she was sitting there living with him. He said, wait a minute, we're engaged and you haven't told your parents about us? So Fatima's hiding stuff from her parents. I don't know what it is, the storyline of what it is about that, but I believe this season we will get a chance to meet her mother. So let's see how that goes, later on. Anywho, she tells him she's going to see her parents this weekend and she'll let them know. And he was like, wow, okay. So anyway, she said she don't want to talk about her parents. He should go see his mother. He said, look, there you go again. Don't want to talk about it. You want to talk about stuff when you want to talk about it. Just like you want me to want you, but you want me to want you when you want me to want you. He's like, so he told her, don't be thanking me unless you're going to thank me. Talking about sex, unless you're going to thank me. You understand, And she's like, you're pushing it. So anyway, he said he's going to go see his mother just because Fatima suggested he do it. And she was like, great. So he gets there to the hood to see his mother. She wants a hug. He's like, really? Okay. And she said, I heard you bought a house. He's like, here you go. He knew it. Got any room for your old lady? They trying to put me out of here. He's like, why? And she's like, why what? And his brother jumped and said, what the fuck are you asking that for? He said, because there's only one reason why they kick niggas out of a place like this. And basically he was saying because they selling drugs, because that's just what's his name was doing, Jeremiah. So she's like, he went to jail for you. And Zach is like, I know, he never let me forget it. But y'all, somebody tell me down in the comment section and correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't in season 1, they said Zach did time in jail too. They both went to jail for that time, but Zach only did like 3 years where his brother did 10. And then Zach was basically doing something with his brother. It was his brother's idea to rob some store or whatever, do something. And that's how he got caught up in that mess. So somebody correct me down in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how it went down. So I don't know why they keep saying he went to jail for him, because Zach still went to jail as well. He only did 3 years. And I think his brother, like I said, did like 10. Then she was asking Zach to get his brother a truck. Can you get him a truck? He trying to start a moving business. I said, a moving business? He said, him? Please. I said, he probably going to try to start a drug business out of the truck. Who knows? And then she's like, can she hold some money? I need to buy some groceries. And Zach, Zach was like, what happened to the money I gave y'all? Because, he gave him $10,000. It could have only been a week ago. And she's like, I have a problem, but I'm getting help now, And so he said, you know what? I'll take you to the supermarket. You don't need to take me. Just give me $100. He's like, no, I'm not giving you no money. I'll take you to the supermarket. So he takes her to the supermarket. She kept saying how nice his car was and stuff. He's like, yeah, okay. She don't want him to go in the supermarket with him. He give her the money. He goes in with her anyway. At that moment, Fatima calls and she's telling him he don't sound good and is everything okay? He's like, I'm fine. And at that moment, an old girlfriend named Connie sees him and she comes over there and trying to talk to him. Girl, don't you see he's on the phone? People are so rude. You gonna start, hey, Zach, and all of that stuff. And Zach, instead of him letting Fatima know what was going on, he act like it was somebody, a bad connection, or it was a dude he was talking to or whatever. They don't need to start lying. It is what it is, Let her know. And then she was saying how the girls be saying how they miss him and all this stuff. And she's like, I ain't never been F like that before since you. And he's like, please, my mother's in the store, whatever. So because he's horny, when he sees her, she sees that his ding dong is hard. She's like, oh, look at him. He stood up soon as he heard my voice and everything. I said, I was like, So he's like, you know what? I got to go. He's like, I gotta go find my mother or something like that. After they talked, she tried to get his number, but he wouldn't give her the number. Anyway, he find out that Gladys, his mama, dipped out the back door. So now he's upset, that she left him again. So meanwhile, we got Fatima talking to Angela and letting her know that she needs to talk to Bryce and stop avoiding him. They also talk about Paul, and how fine he was, the construction worker. And Fatima let Angela know that she was right and that Zach was upset that she didn't call him to fix the flat. Then she hears his car outside and she looking out the window and Zach's just sitting in his car. So she hangs up from Angela and goes out there and sits in the car with him. And Zach is crying and he doesn't want to talk about how he's feeling. And he's like, do you love me, Fatima? She said, yes, I love you. I love you, And she's like, I'm not your mother and I didn't do whatever to your mother, anything to you like that, But we need to find you someone to talk to. And he was like, I don't want to talk to nobody. She said, no, we need to, because especially since, we talking about starting a family together and we going to need all the tools that are necessary to get through that, And I was like, wow. And he had the tears. I'm telling you, Duvall Ellis, you were playing that role. You was playing that part. Them tears was flowing and so were mine. I was like, Lord Jesus. And he started telling the story to Fatima how his mom left him when he was 6 years old at a gas station and he was screaming, Mom, Mom. He was frantic and lost and he didn't know what to do. And he stumbled upon her and found her with a trucker and she was giving him head. And he kept calling, Mom, Mom. And she wouldn't even stop even though she heard his voice. And she left him again today, he said. She left me again in the supermarket and ducked out the back door. And he was crying and she just held him because he kept telling her she could go ahead in. She got to go to work. And she said, I'm going to sit out here with you. I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you. And she just held him in her arms while he just cried. So I hope it continues like this. Like I said, y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all think about it. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. This your girl, Barbie J, saying, fingers crossed that the rest of the season will have wonderful episodes like the first two that we've seen of Zatima. Peace.